Hello, friends. I have a very unusual comic to share with you today. I'm sure you've never seen this one. It's called Meanwhile, and this comic book is not just a comic book, it's a choose your own adventure comic book that's like a game. So we'll be taking a look at that. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Comic Book Odyssey releases a live stream every day or just about every day. Sometimes just a draw stream where it's ambient music and drawing, which I call the calm stream. And every Sunday, 5 p.m., we have a live stream Comic Book Odyssey podcast where we talk about comic books we think are good and why we think they're good. Also, as you can see at the top, comicbookodyssey.substack.com. You can get a free subscription and get access to everything that is published there, including updates on the comic book that I'm working on called Spirit Girl. And you can also take a paid subscription if you want to support Comic Book Odyssey. All right, let's do the Meanwhile. Meanwhile is a comic book, choose your own adventure comic book done by Jason Shiga. Now, this is the first of its kind I've seen. The way it works is you open it up and you have instructions on how the comic book works. So it's not just a left to right, top to bottom, page to page comic. The way you read this book is you start the story, and then you get a choice of where you want to go in the story. So you start at an ice cream parlor, and you play basically the little boy. And he orders ice cream. So if he wants to have chocolate ice cream, you follow the tube connected to the panel that says chocolate, and then it shows you this tab where you read the rest of the story. If you choose vanilla, the tab is deeper in the book. And then the book reads from the panel on the bottom right, in this case. So he gives him the ice cream, and you see this little tubes connected to the panel. You just follow the tube, right? And so the story goes along. It's not left to right, top to bottom. It's wherever the tube goes. So he has his ice cream, and in this case, the story ends here. He just enjoyed his ice cream. If he chooses chocolate, story goes in a different direction, right? Down to here. And it follows. Okay? So the way camera is not focused in. There we go. So you can read this book that's, I don't know, what I want to say 60, 70, 60 pages, 50 pages, maybe even less. But you could spend many hours in this book because you can go back and choose a different path and see how the story goes. And it's based on the quantum mechanics multiple universes theory. So it's kind of that's sort of embedded in the story. So there is a scientist that kind of explains it at one point. Artwork is and it's like plastic pages, like heavy duty plastic pages. So you can play this with your kids and kind of have your kids choose the adventure that they want and see how it goes. There's like certain, I don't want to flip too much because there are spoilers in this story. Anyway, this just a little kind of a curiosity of a comic book. I'd never seen anything like it. I've had this a long time since it was first published. I guess When was this published? Early 2000s, I think. And yeah, I think it's in 2010 there. And Jason Shiga. Jason Shiga's made a bit of a thing of making this sort of comic that's unusual format, folded differently. Pretty interesting stuff. But this seems to have been, I don't know what he's up to these days, but at the time of having published this, I think this was kind of like his masterwork. I don't know if he's gone on to publish more of these sorts of things. If you can get your hands on this, it's a very interesting comic book curiosity conversation starter for people who've never heard of comic books. They find this interesting, and really good book for kids. If you can get your hands on this, I think they'd have a lot of fun going through this. comicbookodyssey.substack.com. Give me a subscribe if you can. Like and subscribe this video. Give me a comment about what you think about this format. Is that something that's interesting to you? Have you heard of this comic, this type of comic? That's it. See you in the next one.